Greetings, everyone. I'm just saying, now, I've got a problem right now. I'm sitting here reading files. As you lot know, I do the Black Child Agenda. I'm on my laptop here today. And I've got a concern that I need to make sure that people are aware of. Now, you guys see me post. I'm very unapologetic. I'll say it as it is. But I've got a problem right now. I don't know if we're really taking this whole COVID and this schools to prison pipeline. I don't know if we're taking it seriously. I am getting a barrage, like my inbox every single day. I have no less than 3 or 4 or 5 parents literally pulling their hair out because their child is being racially bullied, racially profiled. They have SEN. They're not getting the support that they need. They're being excluded. Look, I've got 4 cases where a child has attempted suicide whilst on school premises. And you know what the response is? They've been permanently excluded. I've had where young boys as well who are literally having breakdowns. They've been permanently excluded. Now, parents, please, I beg you, make sure when these people are dealing with your children, if you insist on sending your child to school, you have no choice. Something has to give, because these children are literally crumbling. I've got too many cases of children that have got mental health where the schools are like, well, they didn't have it before, so how come they've got it all of a sudden? The kids have been locked up in their house for the last 6 months. Of course, there's going to be some sort of psychological issues when they are back in an environment where they're supposed to be wearing these masks across their face. They're supposed to be doing as they're told. The classroom sizes haven't changed. There's still 30, 40, 50 children per classroom. You're saying that they're supposed to social distance. They're saying this, they're saying that, they're saying the other. If a child doesn't wear a mask, you're excluding them. If a child does wear a mask and has anxiety, you're getting them in trouble. When a child who has got mental health issues, has anxiety or anything else, you're putting them in an isolation room. You're putting them in detention. Parents are begging for help from a lot of you teachers that claim that you love the profession. If you love the profession and love children, then you would do more to protect them. Take your racism and put it to one side, because when it's Claire and Sally, you make sure that they get the support and help they need. When you're seeing a child who's 6, 7 years old in a playground being punched in the face and bitten by white students, and you stand there watching and do nothing about it, that means that you're blatantly racist. Don't lie and say you didn't know. Don't lie and say you didn't see it, because the child said that you were standing there and they called you. Stop lying. Parents, a lot of you are asking me, what can you do about the fact that your child is being bullied? You're in a predominantly white area. You can't move. You have no choice, etc., etc. You need to kick up a fuss. Point 1, don't just come in and verbally complain about these instances. Put everything in writing. You guys should know me well enough to know you put things in writing. You send an email about a complaint. If needs be, you take your child out of the school and you write the reasons why. Sorry, my thing's always popping up. Write the reasons why you're not going to send your child, because it's a safeguarding concern. If your child was being beaten up at home on a regular basis, trust me, these people will have social services at your door, safeguarding team at your door, education welfare at your door, and the police in a heartbeat to come and see if your child is okay, like they care. But how is it that you're sending your child into these environments on a daily basis and they're being beaten up, they're being bullied? I've got children eating pencil lead because they're so stressed, pulling out their hair. 10-year-olds who are incontinent, who are wetting themselves in school because they're that terrified of going into that environment that they don't know what they're doing. You guys need to really, really think about what you're doing with your children. These are your babies. You gave birth to them. You helped make them. And you're willing to hand them over to these demons on a daily basis to be abused. Something that don't make no sense to me. That don't make no sense to me. You're telling me that because your child's got an afro, they shouldn't be allowed to go to school. That's hair discrimination. You're telling me that your child has got additional needs that you can clearly see, but the school refuse. They're refusing to have your child assessed. Get an assessment by yourself. Contact the local authority and get the assessment letter sent to you, and make sure that you fill it out and get it sent to the school that forces them to have to do that. They have to do it. If you know that there's something wrong, because you know what's going to happen, and I've seen it time after time after time, I spend my life doing this, is that they will then switch it on you and say that you are the one that have failed your child. You are the one that hasn't properly safeguarded your child. You are the one that are failing in every single which way possible. And then sometimes when mum and dad aren't together, mum, dad, stop telling these people your business. Stop telling them that this and that and the other, because these people are using it in the courts against you. They're using it in the courts to say that you as parents are not fit to have this child. Social services are rubbing their hands. And I'm not saying all social workers, because I know there's some of you out there that are bloody brilliant at what you do to protect our children, but there are a lot of you out there who are just downright demonic, and you're happy to take someone's child where nothing's gone wrong in the home, and you know nothing's gone wrong, and you will blatantly lie on your paperwork. I've witnessed it firsthand with someone that I know, where a social worker blatantly lied and said that they tried to fight her. Hey, it's just like, I'm just so annoyed, and I've been holding out, just sending posts here and there, but like today I think I've reached my max of, I just can't take it. And it's like, it's the same thing, and what it is the same emails coming through. My child's being bullied in school, my child's facing racist discrimination, I have reported it to the school, but you've done it verbally, do it in writing. I've got an appeal. Unfortunately, as I see, Ria, why do governors, heads and teachers all lie? They lie. It's all about money, just like this new COVID vaccine. I posted it on my post yesterday. I don't know if you lot saw it. Let me put this laptop down because it's making my forehead look shiny. The pound on the stock market has risen, and that has been since they've come out with this new vaccine. The pound on the stock market, it was falling to where it was almost like what they classify as a third world country. That means that the pound was going to be weak after Brexit, 31st of December 2020. All of a sudden it's risen because of the vaccine. All of this is about money making. Understand what time it is. Understand where your children are concerned. And then a lot of you have asked me about vaccinations in schools. Listen, we've all seen the same laws. The law is there. We sent it all out. Everyone, did you sign it? Did you read it? Did you bother? Because if you're not bothering to do the basics, then you can't look at Cheryl Phoenix, because I don't have a cape and I don't have millions and millions and millions of pounds to fix this. I can't. I can fix what I can. I can do what I can. People like Ria, we can do what we can. Alison, we can do what we can. But we as a community, as a collective, have to take some responsibility for our babies. If you insist on handing them to these people, you need to read. Like, I know where, right, you're sending your child to school to learn about maths, English and science, and now they got this PSHE, LGBT, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever it is. I get that. But now, sending your child to school is not the same thing. Now you need to get the book on education law. Now you need to get the social worker's guide to law. Now you need to download everything there is about the Human Rights Act, which is going to be null and void by the 31st of December, just so you know. You're not going to be able to sue if something goes wrong. You're not going to be able to target anyone if something goes wrong. That is all dead and gone in the water. Understand what time it is. Understand the reality of where we're going, and understand with your children. And that's my concern. You as adults, if you want to act fool, that's your business, but these children need protecting. And if you're not protecting them, then trust me, these people have got a key or a padded cell waiting for your kids. Trust me. Governors, waste of time. Unless we get more of people that look like us on these I've seen governing boards. Lord of mercy, I've seen governing boards where the wife is the chair. The husband is the head of the school. The wife is the chair of governors, and the daughter has nothing to do with the school, is also on the panel. Do you know that's perfectly legal? There's nothing illegal about that. So you can see the governors are a critical friend to the school. So that's like me and you, like, you know, we talk on Facebook and whatever else, and you've done something wrong. It's like, oh, there, Michelle or Ben, don't do that again. However, even despite all the wrongs that you see that has taken place with the child in the school, all the wrongs that has taken place where the school is supposed to support the child has an educational healthcare plan, that educational healthcare plan is not being followed. The child is having anxiety attacks. The child's hair's falling out. The child's actually wetting themselves. The child has come home with bite marks in their face. The child is being watched The child is being put in isolation and detention every single day when they go back into the school environment for 2, 3, 4 hours. The child. But yet we send them back every day. And yet the governors will still, despite that, side with the school. So yes, as Maria has said, it is corrupt. I had a case a couple of weeks ago, and the chair of governors was an ex-student at the school. She's also their legal counsel. She's also the chair of governors. And she was also good friends with the judge in the courtroom. Tell me how we're supposed to do with that. This is the reality of what's going on. This is the reality of what I see. And they didn't realise I was actually on camera. And whilst I was on camera, I'm just faffing around here, making sure my notes are okay. And I'm watching these two sitting down, chatting, having a great debate. Oh, yes, when are you coming round for dinner and lunch? How is Charlie doing? Oh, yes, and blah, blah, blah. And throughout that whole hearing that I dragged out for 3 hours, throughout that whole hearing, do you know that judge never took down one note from our side? Is all they did was actually take notes from the other side. So this is the reality of what the Black Child Agenda is dealing with. This is my frustration as an individual and a parent and a grandparent. Yes, I'm a grandma. We have to, yes, we can listen to our children, but there's no point in just listening and verbal. We need to stop the verbalization. We need to start writing, because you're going to need the evidence. The system in itself is so corrupt. I think since pre-COVID, even though I know we're in this alleged lockdown now, I think pre-September, I've seen a huge increase in the amount of corruption within the education system, social services, and all of these systems. I've seen mental health amongst our black women. Our women are screaming for support. Our men are screaming for support, and it's not forthcoming. What's out there, us as a community, quite rightly, are very dubious to put ourselves forward, because we do fear a lot that, oh, they're going to take away our children, because we've seen cases like it. So it is bad, and it is off the scale, and the unfortunate thing is, as of the end of next month, it is only going to be getting worse. And that's my concern, that we're not really articulating ourselves with the law. There is one piece of legislation that I am in the process of reading, and once I've read that, I'm going to try and dissect it down and feed it back to you, because, you know, sometimes I will come online or whatever and feed back, but you need to take action. I've been talking about the schools to prison pipeline since 2011 to date. I've been talking about the over-sexualization of our children in the education system for 10 years to date. I've been talking about racism in schools for over 10 years to date. I've been talking about mental health on the rise amongst black women, black men, and our children from 2000 and whenever to date. And unless it's in the Guardian or unless it's in the Independent, and then people share the out of it. Until then, when little old me, little Black Child Agenda, Mrs. Mighty Mouth, when I say something, no one don't want to hear. But as soon as Massa has something to say, no one don't wants to know. Once Massa's got something to say, then we're sharing. Sharing ain't changing shit. The only thing that's going to change is the law. The law, health education plan equals money. The money will stay with the school as long as the child name is on their register, whether they are in or out of school. That's 100%. The EHC plan lasts until your child is 25 years of age. Yep, corruption is what many institutions are built on. The EHC plan lasts until your child is 25. A lot of parents are on waiting lists for things like CAMS, Child and Adult Mental Health Service, if you're not sure what the acronym means. It is, I personally, for CAMS, personally, it's my personal opinion, is that CAMS love to medicate, and they love to, oh, your child's got X, so they want to give them medication. There's no explanation to parents about what the long-term impact is of the medication that they're giving for children with ADHD or any other neurological, what they call disorder. I'm trying to find a nicer word, because I don't see it as that. There's many ways our children learn, and they have creative styles about them. But the medication thing, they're very clinical. There's nothing that is of us or by us. However, I say that I've just created a group on my WhatsApp of psychologists, psychotherapists, counselors, you know, everyone, educational psychologists, everything. There's maybe only about 15, 20 people in the group so far. So if you are within that field, please come forward, because our parents need you. Our children need people that look like them. And I know not all skin folk are kinfolk, but we need more of us to be assessing our children, because I've had educational healthcare plans rewritten too many times that I care to mention. I've had people that you can clearly see the diagnosis is A, but then they've put it down to things like ODD. And it's like ODD. And when you actually read oppositional divide disorder, for those that want to look it up, when you actually read what ODD is, and you're like, no, that's not this kid. This kid is not, that's not what they've got. That's not it. But no one is like, because parents, and I get it that you're not going to know. Why should you know? You're not supposed to have a degree in education law or mental health law to understand that sometimes these people that call themselves professionals are not right. And if you don't feel, as a parent within your heart, that you feel and you know that it's not right, it just don't seem. Yep, absolutely, Leah. It just don't feel right. Follow your gut. Please listen to your children. I can't tell you. I remember when my children were younger and they were being bullied. And, you go through, let me go and speak to the teacher. Oh, they have an anti-bullying policy. All of these policies that they copy and paste from. You go on any school website and look at their anti-bullying. Just compare 3 and tell me if they're not all identical. And eventually I was like, hold on a minute. My child ain't no victim out here. I said to my son, if anybody put them hand pan you lick it down. I'm sorry. Many of you was there, violence ain't the answer, really. So my child should be a victim and then start suffering with the mental health and depression and want to slit their wrists, because I've got 8-year-olds trying to slit their wrists in school. Yeah, I've got 12-year-olds trying to literally having knives to commit suicide. I've got 12-year-olds straddling fences, 10, 12-foot high fences with jaggedy things on it just to get away from that environment. If that is not an alarm bell for you as a parent or parents generally, then I don't know what it's going to take for us to actually say, you know what, later. It's like it has to be a kind of bun down Babylon flex. It has to be. We need to be angry about this. The same way how we were angry about, all the other things and upset about this Axe movie. We seem to be more upset about that than we are about our children attending an environment where they're being abused on a daily basis. You're more upset about a damn TV program, understand with the full knowledge and understanding, knowing that they have to follow a particular narrative. If you want it to be aired, then you've got to kind of not sell out, but whatever. You're more concerned by that than you are about our kids being abused. And then we wonder when they get to 14, 15, 16 and they are pissed off with society. They do feel failed. They do feel let down. They do feel like no one's listening. They do feel like, all of these things. And then they get groomed into a lifestyle on road. And then we know what that looks like. We hear and see what that looks like on a daily basis. We know what it's like. So then with that and knowing the schools to prison pipeline is a very, very real thing, we still do the same thing and hope for the best. We're hoping that Massa is going to change his mind about his hatred for us and do the right thing by our kids. Get the out of here. It doesn't make sense. And if it don't make sense, then it ain't real. If it was me personally, I would actively encourage every single one of you to take on a picnic out to school for at least a month. Make them write to you, because they can't sue everybody. Make them write to you. Make them threaten you with court action. If everybody stood firm, white, black, pink, blue, and indifferent against racism and the racism that I'm seeing and I'm hearing about, my inbox is filled with it. My inbox is filled. And you've got small babies. They're like 6. 5 still got breast milk around their mouth, and you're telling me that your son is being punched and kicked in front of a teacher by white children and called monkeys and Black Lives Don't Matter and all of these things. Really? See, this is where I understand. Remember back in the 80s when certain parents used to go down to school and people used to get their head bust. I get it. But you can't be, yeah, exactly, I agree with you. Tell your child don't hit first though. But if it's self-defense, everyone is entitled to self-defense. And if they want to come for your kid, call me. We will put some pepper on them, because why is it that that child is okay to hit my child, but it's not all right for my child to defend themselves? I've had children in the schools. That school in Cheshunt, remember last year I made a thing about that? I had this tiny little thing. She was year 8. She looked like she was about 10. She was so tiny. Lovely little girl. Prefect. Never been in trouble. Look at Nigerian thing. Lovely, lovely child. Being bullied by year 11 and 12s. White children. I'm going to tell it as it is. I'm going to say I said what I said. Being bullied by these white children. And the school did nothing. The mum and dad went to school and complained. The child complained. No one listened. Till one day they cornered this girl in the locker room. She goes, I'm going to tell on you. Because she was that little good girl. Little Miss Prefect. Nothing wrong with that. The girl, so she left. She tried to leave. She got to the door. They dragged her back by her hair and started laying into her. 4 of them. This little one, small little child, I love her. So sweet. Gave the girl one uppercut in her jaw corner. You wanted to see what the school wrote? She's so violent and the narrative, does this sound familiar? The narrative. She's so violent and aggressive and a threat to the school environment and all the staff and other children. This is the reason why we have to permanently exclude. They permanently excluded the child on the spot. The other child cannot come to school because she's in fear of her life. Because the girl was in school by the next day. But because she had a bruise under here, they really magnified it. If you saw how they magnified it. I just looked at the black coon that was in the middle as the chair of governors and kissed my teeth. The way I peppered that woman, peppered her up in there to where she walked out and said that this meeting's no longer going to take place. I'm like, fine, we'll see you at the independent review. And at the independent review, we won. 6 times I won in that same school at the independent review. How? Because they're blatantly racist. Parents, take it all the way. Leah says, parents have been made to feel powerless to advocate for their own children and believe the teachers. Yeah, what I find with that, funny enough as you say that, is that I find parents that are not second generation, what am I, second generation, that are first generation that come here, tend to listen to the teachers as our parents. Remember, our parents kind of did at the same time as well back then. And it's quite interesting. But then when these same parents realize, they goes, I chastised my child, you know, I was taking things away. And like the mum, there was a few mums that have literally just bawled on the phone because they're like, I can't believe I made my child feel like that. After I know that it's now I realize it's these people that have made my child feel like that. Why, teachers, do you think it's okay to pick on black children? Your overt, covert racism is blatantly racist. As they have this diversity training, I think you need blatant racial discrimination training. Forget this diversity word, because that now make it right now. You need blatant racial discrimination training. But that racism is inherent in your soul and your spirit and your gut. And I don't even think, even with the want of trying, you want to actually change that. So do you know what? Change your career. Go and do something where you don't need to come into contact with people of other races. Don't do anything where you need to come into contact with our babies. These are still children. They're babies. And I would say I'm appealing to your better nature. But as Neanderthals are, you don't have a better nature because everything you do and everything you touch is war and destruction. And then right now, parents, this is to you. I don't have business with them. This is to you. They have nothing good for your picnic. Now, don't get it twisted. I'm not saying that every Neanderthal or everybody or every white teacher or every Asian teacher is bad, because there are some amazing teachers out there, and I do speak to them and I see them in my groups and they speak to me and they inbox me and stuff. Don't get it twisted. There are some amazing ones, but you racist, dirty bungle BCs and blots not and rots not, because we can't swear. And trust me, I swear like a sailor when I'm ready. I've gone from your screen. I don't know what's happened. You know, we have to just get on this thing. As we say, as the youths them say, we have to get on it. The young people, they see it. The children, they see it, but can't articulate themselves. When you're questioning your children about how their school day went and where Sally punched them in the face and the teacher said it's okay. No, it's not okay. You go all the way with it. Just because they're 5 and 6, it doesn't mean it's okay. You know, and if it keeps going on, then someone needs to get a lick down. And I know we're not supposed to hit girls, boys are not supposed to hit girls, but sometimes I'm finding it too easy to say, oh, boys are not allowed to hit girls, but it's okay for your girl to punch up my son. Not round here. I like a video I showed earlier where, do you know what? We're not having it anymore. We're just not having it. Our kids aren't having it. I certainly ain't having it. Yes, you're right with the judges, Leah. I don't know if you heard me before, but the judges are just as bad. We're not having it. And, you know, the emails is the reason why I've come live today, because I was actually going to do an event around mental health and blah, blah, blah. Hopefully from a sandy beach somewhere. But the emails, like I said, every single day I'm getting in emails. My child has mental health, but the school's not supporting me. My child is being bullied. Sometimes in front of the teacher, they come back and tell me, but no one's supporting me. My child is trying to commit suicide, but no one's supporting me. With that, they have a legal duty of care. They have a safeguarding duty of care. There's so many things that they're supposed to do to support, hold on. So since our parents came here, remember, you see what they've done with the Windrush generation. That shows you how much respect they have for us in the first place. But since our parents came here, we weren't given 1 pence of government money. Yeah? We weren't given 1 pence of government money to open a business, 1 pence of government money to buy a house, not 1 pence of government money to do jack squiddly squid. We had to come together as a community and build. Now, I know it sounds all nostalgic. Keep it clean, sis, me granny daya. I was safe for our parents went to school here. I learned a system while there, and my mother wasn't taking their crap. Good. But the fact is, it's like, we ain't asked these people for nothing. Everything we've achieved as a community, and I don't like it when I see we're putting each other down, that black people don't support black businesses. If we didn't support black businesses wouldn't exist, and they do. But the fact is that we have had to do for self forever. Everything we've achieved in this country, home ownership, business, startup, we've had to do, because even till today, they don't want to give us no money to do nothing, but every other community gets what they need. Even the recent communities from the Somali background, the Eastern European background, and anywhere else in the world that have come, have actually been given financial aid and support, besides the African Caribbean community. But yet, we pay for our taxes. We give them big money on our taxes. We come in your hospitals and built your NHS that is going to be gone by next year. If not for us, you wouldn't have a country. We taught you people how to wash your skin, bring the toilet and bathroom inside the house, nurture your children, nurture your granny who's calling us N-word and this, that and the other. And even despite all of that, you're still set for our children. You're still set for the children then. Why? Tell me why. It's like, what have we done? What have we as a community ever done to any other nationality, race, creed or colour globally? What have we done? Nothing. We're probably the most set of peaceful people out there, but being in your company has made us a different kind of way. But that's a whole nother debate for another thing. The only reason why I'm here now, parents, please log on to your children. Log on. Log on to what they're saying, log on to what's going on in the environment of school, log on to everything and just go through it. I am going to do an event, I don't know when, because I'm so overwhelmed with work. I actually had one planned for the 3rd of December. It's not going to happen because I have hearings back to back to back to back to back. I'm like, it's just overrun. So it's just, I will see and I'll put it out there. The judges are old, arrogant, ignorant, biased, sexist and racist who collude with employers, social workers, schools, teachers and heads. Yeah, it is their system. It's their system. And the thing is, the system's working perfectly. And that's where we seem to be failing ourselves. We're not realizing this system is working absolutely just fine. Schools to prison pipeline's working great. Taking children into care and social services is going great. All of these things, the negative portrayal of us in the media, the fact that, like, I keep getting these shares of these movies and documentaries that are coming on at muckle time of night that are all depressing. Not one of them that I've heard of is uplifting or enjoyable. And I haven't watched any of them. And I don't plan on watching any of them. It's always negative. Why are they not putting anything positive out there? Because they don't care. Why would they? Yes, Sophia, my father and friends set up a first supplementary school in Birmingham in the early 70s. And that's the thing, there were loads of supplementary education schools around at one point. And then they just all dropped off as well. Now everything's online, there's no excuse. There's so many black resources out there for us, by us. You've got Simon Education, you've got Black History Studies, you've got Leah Salmon as well. She's doing her health and all of these different things. There's so many things out there for us. Ignorance in this day and age, that means that you're just a damn idiot. Yeah, I said what I said. You must be a whole full fool, 100. If in this day and age right now where everyone's logged on, everybody's logged on for foolishness and rubbish, that you ain't logging your children on to what's going to actually make sure that they have a strong mindset if you're insisting and sending them into the layer of the demon. because that's, you have to send them in armed with that self-respect and that surety. And I sent my boys in like that, and they would get in trouble, but it's like, no, I'm coming, mummy's coming down to school, don't worry, you hold your ground, mummy's coming down. And they weren't being disrespectful, they weren't being rude, they were just stating facts. I haven't the thing. Yep, absolutely. So it's just facts. That's all you can deal with. Facts and evidence. When you're dealing with these people, facts and evidence. No emotions, no crying in the meetings. Please stop crying in the meetings, because they love that. Facts and evidence. Write a document, write a list of your own. Keep sending emails, bombard them in emails, making sure that you're on their tail so they know that you're not backing down. Because if you're not protecting your babies, who is? And that is the reality. I don't want to get any more of these types of emails. It just breaks my heart. And some of them, it's like, the worst thing is I have to read every single word, letter, vowel, syllable. I have to read it. And it's not a pretty picture. If you hear and see some of the things they're doing to these tiny babies, and even at 14, 15, 16, they're still babies. Been on the planet for 16 years. Come on now. We have to take more responsibility. My rant is done. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. And you know who I am, what I do, if you need to get in touch. And also on that, just do your best. Do what you can. Log on. And step pun, I'm not going to finish that. Take care.